Put a finger down if you started to get really bad headaches when you would read or look at a computer or watch TV and you've never had glasses in your entire life. So you go to the eye doctor for the very first time and he dilates your eyes, which you don't know what that means, and it stings really bad. And then you can't focus your eyes. And the eye doctor says that you're definitely going to need glasses. So he points you to go look at the wall of glasses. But by the time you get over there, you can't see anything because your eyes have been dilated. So you think to just pull out your phone and take pictures of the wall of glasses to look at when you get home and your eyes readjust. But by the time you get home and look at all of the wall of glasses pictures that you took, you realize your front facing camera was on and you didn't know it because you couldn't see anything. And then you had 28 pictures of you looking at the wall of glasses instead of the wall of glasses.
Can't do it. How do people make these when they're having a mental breakdown? Put a finger down if you were gonna go to dinner and your brother is waiting for you and you told him you're on the way, even though you're Hispanic and you were actually doing your hair. And then you decide to rush everyone and you get in the car and then you start packing up and you hit your dad's car. And then you have to call the police to make a police report and ruin your whole fucking driving record. And now you're having a mental breakdown and you're filming a fucking TikTok with your finger fucking down, you stupid whore.
Put a Garfield down if you started buying Garfields on eBay for a project and one of them was the right size, but you bought two at the same time and one of them was the wrong size and it was way too big. So you bought a third Garfield and it was way too small. So you bought a fourth Garfield and it was the same size as the one that was too big. So now you're debating on buying a fifth Garfield that's guaranteed to be the right size because it has the swing tag, which is the only indicator of what product it is. So, but it's $25. And you've already spent $65 on Garfields, and you don't want to have spent $90 on Garfields, but you're heavily considering spending $90 on Garfields.
Put a finger down if in the first grade it was common knowledge that your butt crack was always out at circle time to everyone except for you. And then one day this boy asked to be your boyfriend and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't had a boyfriend since preschool. So you say yes. And the next day he sits behind you at circle time and he leans into your ear really close and whispers, can I stick my finger in your butt crack? And you're like, oh my God, my butt crack's out. And then you're like, oh my God, my boyfriend wants to stick his finger in my butt crack. So you say yes and he sticks his finger in your butt crack and then when he pulls it out, he smells it.
Put a finger down if in high school you got busted and your parents announced they would be drug testing you every fucking day and you had to really stop and brainstorm because getting clean piss for a test or two is no problem, but every day, that's a different issue. You finally decide to take one of the hundreds of THC test kits they had just ordered and test your dog's piss on it. The dog piss works. The test comes back negative, not inconclusive. For the next 6+ months, first thing every morning, you follow your dog outside with a plastic cup. The first few days are awkward and tricky as he is very confused. Both in the first week, he knows the drill. You always have 1 cup of piss on deck and restock after each test. Since you piss for a test almost every single day, it's very cash and your parents just leave a cup out and don't watch you do your thing in the bathroom. Every time you low-key walk into the bathroom with their cup in one hand and your cup of pee under your shirt. Once in, you mix some warm water in to make it seem fresh and to dilute it. It works for way too long, but after a minute, they figure out you are still smoking when they find your entire DAP set up again. To this day, they do not know you are using your dog.
Put a finger down if this applies to you. Put a finger down if you have a stomach. Put a finger down if you've been hungry before. Put a finger down if you like nature. Put a finger down if you eat junk trash food. Put a finger down if you wanted to steal your friend's food. You're a raccoon. You're a fucking raccoon.
Put a finger down if you got in the back of a jet ski with a cute guy and he gunned it and you weren't holding on, so you flew off the back and hit the water so hard you blacked out. He had to carry your lifeless body back onto the jet ski and you saw that you were bleeding. You didn't know where you were bleeding from and you were actually profusely bleeding out of your asshole for the next 6 hours, and you convinced yourself you were fine until it was the middle of the night and your best friend saw that you were not fine and decided to take you to the ER, where the doctors found out that the stream of the jet ski actually went straight up your asshole and shredded all your internal organs. So you had to go into emergency surgery to reconstruct all your internal organs, and you came out with an ileostomy bag on the side of your stomach that collected your shit for the next 5 months.
put a finger down if you had a boyfriend in high school and you'd go over to his house all the time because his mom worked and his sister was at school, and you were at his house one time, doing boyfriend and girlfriend things, and you hear something and you go, babe, I think I heard something, and he was like, no, that was nothing, but then you hear hello and you're like, babe, I definitely heard something, and then his mom proceeds to come to the room, and so you book it to the closet. Keep in mind, this isn't a walk-in closet, this is a slide door closet, so you're pressed up against the clothes, try not to make any noise, shaking against the freaking hangers, and then he proceeds to have a 20-minute conversation with his mother, and then after she leaves, you come up with an escape plan. I was going to go out the side door, then dive into the backseat of his car, and so you proceed to dive into the backseat of his car. You're driving, about 15 seconds into your drive, you're like, oh, we made it, we're scot-free. He gets a call from his mom, and she says, tell Abby to use the front door next time.
Okay, put a finger down if you used to live in an apartment with your boyfriend, and since it was your apartment, you would walk around naked all the time because it's your apartment, who cares, it's comfortable. And one day you and your boyfriend were sitting on your bed and you were eating a burger and you were naked and you were like, babe, I don't feel very well, and he was like, oh my god, are you okay? And you were like, yeah, I think so. So you lean over to fart because you think it might make you feel better, and then pure liquid shit comes out of you, and since you were naked there was nothing stopping it, so it just got all over the bed 10 inches from your boyfriend sitting right next to you. And then, so you had to call your mom and tell her that you shit the bed and ask for money for new sheets because you were too poor to afford new sheets. So then you and your boyfriend had to go to Target at 11 p.m. to buy new sheets. And he called you Poopy Girl the whole time, and now all your friends call you Poopy Girl. Oops.
Put a finger down if your freshman year of high school you developed a crush on the cute, quiet, shy kid in your language arts class, but then he got a girlfriend and you realized, okay, this is probably never going to happen. So you got over your crush, sophomore year came around, and you actually became really close friends with him. And so you were talking about who you liked, and then you asked him, who do you like? And he goes, I can't tell you. And you're like, why can't you tell me? We tell each other everything. And so he said, I just can't tell you. And then that really bugged you. So later on that day, you texted him and you were like, why can't you tell me who you like? I'm not going to tell anybody. And then he goes, I'm gay, smiley face. And I was like, okay, stop trolling. Just tell me who you like. And he just didn't reply back. So the next day in class, you were like, why aren't you telling me who you like? And he pulls you aside and you're like, and he was like, I'm gay and only 7 people know and you're one of them. And then you were really confused and you were like, but you had a girlfriend last year. And he goes, she may or may not have been a cover. And I was like, does she know she was a cover? And he goes, no, she would kill me if she found out. And somehow that made you feel better because then you realized you really could have been the cover. And it wasn't that you didn't have a chance. It was the entire female population that didn't have a chance. So
Hey guys, put a finger down if you were happy about this quarantine at the beginning because you were getting a week out of school, but then you realized it was probably going to be a month and you weren't going to be able to see your friends. And now you're just really depressed because you don't know what to do with your life. You can't see your friends and you're really craving social interaction because you're tired of being at home with your parents and they're really making you go crazy and you want to cry. Me?
Put a finger down if when you're a junior in high school, you're standing in the cafeteria of one of the biggest high schools in the country, and a security guard comes up to you and asks your name, and when you tell him, 6 other police officers surround you and escort you to a back room where they start asking you a bunch of questions like, have you ever brought anything to school that could possibly be a threat to yourself or others, to which you say no, and you're super confused, and a police officer informs you that 3 girls came up to them and told them that you brought a gun to school, so they ask if they could search your car, and you say yes. They tear everything out of your car and don't find anything, so they assume that you hid the gun somewhere in the school, so they then detain you in a back room and put the school on a lockdown. You start throwing up and having a panic attack because you know that they're searching every classroom and bringing the police dogs in, and everybody knows that you're the reason because of this lockdown. And then since they don't find anything in the school, since there was nothing to find in the first place, they lift the lockdown and never release a statement saying that this was just a rumor, that this was just a false accusation made by jealous bitches who wanted to ruin your life, and you have to go back to school with everybody calling you a school shooter.
Put a finger down if your partner and you moved across the country because he was relocated for work, but you still needed to find a job. And so this company reached out to you out of nowhere saying they had the perfect opportunity as a quality inspection associate. You'd work from home, part-time, make good money. It was perfect because you had nothing else bringing in money at the time. And so you took it. And what you would do is they'd send you packages that were addressed to someone else so that you could inspect them and make sure everything was okay with the product. Or they'd send you to UPS with a notary. You'd pick up the package, bring it home, and do the same thing. Inspect it, make sure it's all good, and then send it back out to the person that you thought ordered it. And then 2 weeks later, after doing this for a while, the police show up at your apartment, and they have guns in your face, a warrant to search your apartment, put you in handcuffs, and tell you that you're being arrested for grand theft and burglary. And it took you 2 hours outside your apartment handcuffed to convince them that you had no idea what was going on, and turns out you were part of an organized crime scheme.
Okay, so put a finger down if one time you were home alone and you decided you were going to take advantage of this time alone, and so you were going to get in the shower and you were going to, like flick the bean or whatever, and so you decided you were going to do that, and you're in the shower and you're flicking the bean, and then you're like, I'm going to record this so I can send it to my boyfriend because he would really, really appreciate this, and then so you record it, and then you keep the video on there so you don't send it yet, and then you're finished, you do your thing, and then you were about to send the video, but the screen was wet, so you use your towel to wipe the screen, and next thing you know, the video disappeared from your screen, and you're like, oh no, man, I deleted it, and that's when you check your memories to see if maybe you saved it by any chance, but you didn't, and then so you're like, oh man, well, whatever, it's gone now, I'm not gonna redo this all over again just to record it and send it to my boyfriend, it just never happened, and then literally 2 seconds later, your boyfriend FaceTimes you, and he tells you, check your Snapchat story, and it's because you posted the video of you masturbating on your public Snapchat story, and your friends saw it. Yeah.
Put a finger down if when you were 15 you went to LA and you were shopping with your mom and you saw paparazzi outside of a store, so you decided to go in and you saw Kylie Jenner taking photos with fans, so you approached her really politely and were like, excuse me, could I please take a photo with you? And then she said, I'm sorry, I just want to shop.
Put a finger down if in 4th grade it was healthy eating day and the nurse made a platter of fruit for everyone and you took a whole plate full of fruit, not knowing that you were allergic to literally everything on your plate, ate it all, and then got really sick, so then went to the nurse, but then she sent you back because she thought you were being very dramatic, and then you threw up all over the floor in front of your whole entire 4th grade class, and then you went back to the nurse, and then your parents were both in the city, so they couldn't pick you up, so you had to stay in the nurse while your throat closed, and then she had to give you the EpiPen, making you have to go to the hospital with one of the nurses and waiting for your parents to come, and then finding out that you're not only allergic to fruit, but you're allergic to all nuts, dairy, and soy. Put your finger down if you've ever dyed your hair. Put a finger down if you have a pet. Put a finger down if you breathe air. Put a finger down if you have shoes.
Put a finger down if when you were in high school you were really good friends with this guy and he invited you over to his new apartment that his dad just got him, and you guys were hanging out and it was really cold in there, so you asked him, hey, could you please turn up the heat, and he just straight up says no, so you're like, okay, you're weird, whatever. And then a little bit later you go to the bathroom and you realize, he doesn't have a shower curtain in his bathroom, this is kind of weird, how does he keep water from getting everywhere, whatever, he's weird, I don't care. And then his door to his bedroom is always closed, so you're like, that's weird, whatever, some people like their privacy. And then you leave and a couple days go by and you see him on Snapchat buying really expensive bottles and drinking with his brother, and then nobody has heard or seen from his dad in a few days, so his mom calls the police to do a wellness check, and they discover that he murdered his dad, wrapped him in the shower curtain, put his body underneath a box spring in his bedroom, shut the door, turned the heat down super low, and was still having people over to party with him, and you were in the house with his dad's dead body, and now you have PTSD really bad.
Okay. Put a finger down if you got made fun of for being dark skinned and everybody didn't talk to you because you were darker and all your friends were lighter and skinnier and prettier than you and they all had looser, curlier hair. So I got a perm. Oops. So you got a perm. And then after you got the perm, you cut all your hair off and got an afro. And then when you got that afro, everybody was like, this is around the time everybody was like, wow, I wish I was dark skinned. Wow, I wish I had all that melanin. Wow, why can't my hair do that? And now everybody who said that you were ugly back when you were younger wants you now. And everybody's in your DMs saying, oh my gosh, Kayla, you're so bad, you're so fine, you're so beautiful. And bullshitting. Put a finger down if you're the baddest bitch in the world. Oh my God! Put a finger down if you've ever been made fun of for not being light-skinned. Put a finger down if a girl told you she was prettier than you because she was light-skinned. Put a finger down if you're just like over.
Put a finger down if when Twilight first came out, when you were in like the 6th grade and you first watched it, you were so obsessed with the idea that a vampire would come into your room and watch you sleep at night and admire you because you were so beautiful that you would put on eyeliner, mascara, concealer, and blush before you went to bed every night, and then you would go to bed with all that stuff on your face, and then you would make sure that your head was propped up in a cute and flattering way, and you would put your hand on a pillow like this, like with the palm facing up, and then you would leave your window open, which was actually very dangerous because your room faced like the street, and so you were hoping that a vampire would sneak into your window and hold your hand while you slept and like watch you and admire how beautiful and unique you were. And then
the next day you were convinced that that actually did happen and that like the vampire actually did come watch you sleep, even though no proof, no nothing. So you would walk around school like you had a secret, like,
put a finger down if one time in college, freshman year, you gave a boy a note in astronomy class that said, "Are those space pants? Because your ass is out of this world." And then you put down your Snapchat username and your Instagram username. And then when you gave it to him, you said, "Can you do me a favor?" And he said, "Sure." And then you said, "Can you open this note? But can you open this note when I'm gone?" He said, "Sure." And then you leave and you thought, okay, what's the worst that can happen? He doesn't add me because I'm uglier as a girlfriend. And then all of a sudden, a couple hours pass by and one guy follows you on Instagram and another and then another. And about 15 to 20 guys following you on Instagram. You check all of their bios and they're all in the same fraternity. So then you realize that this guy sent a picture of this note into his fraternity group message and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a clown. So then you go to chapter that night and one of your sisters tells you that this boy is a very well-known boy in his fraternity and that he has a girlfriend, and his girlfriend is actually Miss Illinois or Miss Indiana. I'm not really sure. She's just drop dead gorgeous. So then you're really, really embarrassed, and so then you skip the next 2 classes after that and you never want to see him again, and you skip all of his tailgates and everything. Me.
Put a finger down if in college your boyfriend asked you to go day drinking with him and his friends and you wanted them to like you, so you said absolutely. So you get to his friend's apartment with a pool, but there's no glass allowed by the pool, and you have a double barrel of wine, but you kind of didn't want to go back and forth from the pool to his apartment. So you were like, I'm going to find the biggest cup ever, and there was a cup sitting on the counter and it was huge, and so you pour your entire double barrel of wine into it and you go out to the pool and you're having an amazing time, and everyone keeps being like, oh my god, that's an amazing cup, where'd you get that? And you kept being cocky like, oh my god, I bet you want this cup, you can't have this cup. And then about an hour later, your boyfriend's friend's roommate comes home and he's like, hey, where'd you get that cup? And you were like, I bet you want this cup, motherfucker. And he was like, no, for real, like, where'd you get that cup? And you were like, I found it like on the counter. Why? And he said, that's my toilet brush cleaner cup. I was gonna throw that away.